Hi, so today we're going to work on setting up our battery-powered outdoor box. So our DC controller, DC just means direct current, so it's going to be an outdoor DC controller. This particular model is the 11S, but this programming and install will work for any of our DC units. So first step is we want to get our DC valves. We want to make sure they're wired in right. So we have the little arrow that says the water's going to come in this direction, head out that way. We've got our flow control in case of like hammering and everything as the valve closes, all that good stuff. And then we have our manual operation button. O is for open, C is for closed, so you can open it or close it as needed using the manual button. Now, first thing on any install on these DC latching solenoid valves, you want to grab your trusty 9-volt battery and you want to test the latching solenoid. So we didn't hear anything. Reverse the polarity. We heard the clunk. Reverse the polarity again. And we heard the click. Okay, so we want to make sure that this valve is going to click before we install it, before we get any further along. But once we get the click out of that, then we want to install our valve, make sure the flow is correct, and then we are going to grab our wiring. And for this example, what we're going to do is we're going to wire the yellow to red in this wire, and then we're going to use our outdoor wire nuts, and we're going to shove that right down on there, and then we're going to make sure we're rotating that clockwise on and make sure it gets way down in that silicone grease, and then we don't want to mess that up anymore and rob that grease or anything like that. And then we want to wire in our black to orange, and you can pick any color you want to pick. You just want to make sure red and black is separated because of the functionality of the DC valve. Once again, we're going to shove that thing way, whoop, and I messed it up. If something messes up, just go ahead and get your fingers dirty. It's fine. Click it back on there, support both wires, shove it down all the way to the end, and twist. There we go. So it took, you can see it has a little resistance. That's okay, but we're going to make her twist. Okay, that's that. Then we're going to set that valve out of the way. So we have yellow to red, orange to black, and that's all good to go. It's all wired into your system. So we're going to go to the box itself. We're going to use our little Galcon key, unlock it there, take our little 6-in-1 trusty screwdriver. I'm going to flip that around to a Phillips head, and we're going to undo our screws. All right, so now we can see down inside, we have no batteries attached, anything like that. As soon as you open the box, you'll see you have this little plastic bag. Inside the little plastic bag is the waterproof connection and everything. You have to install it with the little nut on top. And these little caps are for capping off your screws after you do your installation on the wall with your masonry screws or whatever. That keeps the box nice and watertight. From there, we're going to put all of this into a 1-inch conduit, but I don't have 1-inch conduit, so we're just using this as an example. So we would shove this wire for our valves in, and then we also have our rain sensor, and we're going to stick that wire in our conduit as well, and out we come. All right, so let's do our rain sensor first. So we see our rain sensor, it's red and ground, so red is the far side from me. I'll pull a little block, go in with the red, go in with the ground, good, And then we're going to grab our little tiny electronic screwdriver, and we just want to put some tension on that. Just run that little clamp down. From there, just make sure we're gently sticking the terminal block back on. Then we're going to grab our terminal block for valve 1. Same thing, we've got red on the far screw, black on the close screw. Now, what we did was yellow to red, orange to black. So we're going to do yellow to red in here, orange to black in the terminal block. Boom, boom. And tighten them down. All right, and then we're just going to repeat for all the other valves. Make sure you keep your ground separate for each independent valve. Boom, boom, there we go. Okay, so let's say we got all the rest of the valves wired up. We want to choose, do we want to run one valve at a time or two valves at a time? Most of us are just going to keep with running one valve at a time. That will inform our programming later on. But so if in doubt, just run one valve at a time and it's fine. The next valve will wait in the cycle. Then we're going to grab the EX set of cables. So it's the extra set of cables that adds the volume of power to click the solenoids. And we want to power up the EX side first. And we're going to take it and gently just insert it right there. Make sure it's below that level. Then we're going to take the other two into the normal power. We're going to insert that there. Boom. And boom. Now, once we've done all of our wiring, then we powered up. Now we're ready to do our programming. So we want to go ahead and close this up. Make sure we're not smashing anything in here or anything like that. We just want to gently close her up. Open this. Now, what you'll see is the water droplets are fading away in sequence as we go. And so we are, once the water droplets get over here, we'll be ready to get started. While we're waiting on that, grab our little Phillips head screwdriver. All right, now we see our time flashing. That means we are ready to set everything. Setting everything will be either by the enter, the minus button, plus button, or the right arrow. Okay, so enter, minus, plus, right arrow. And so we're going to go, so the time is flashing. We're going to right arrow to get into edit. And then we want to make this 9 a.m. That's good to go. Right arrow gives us minutes. We're not going to adjust any minutes. And then the right arrow again gives us a little flashing arrow that says it's Monday. We'll hit the plus sign, make it Tuesday. That's 100% fine. And then we're going to go enter to save that setting. Now, the next thing you're going to see is the water tap for valve, and we're talking about valve number 1. So that's good. We're going to hit enter again. Now, valve number 1, we're going to do propagation, so we're only going to run it for seconds. So we do a right arrow to get entered. We don't need hours. Right arrow again, we want to take away the minutes. And then the right arrow again, we're going to add 5 seconds. And then we can just hit enter is going to save our 5-second duration. Okay, now we want to run this we want to run this on a cyclical cycle. So we want to go right arrow, right arrow, right arrow, keep going right arrow until it says cycle and once. Now it says cycle and once. We don't want to cycle it once. We want to cycle it every 10 minutes. So we just keep going plus until it cycles up. We're good to go with the 10 minutes. And then we're going to hit enter. Now our start time, what time do we want to start? Well, we want to go ahead and start at 9:15 this morning. And we are not going to delay it any days. So here you could delay it 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, up to 30 days. We're not going to do that. So we right arrow and we're good to go. We press enter. That's start time 1. So we know what's up there. Now we don't need a sensor. We don't care if it rains or not. We want to propagate. When is the window opening? Now we do want to use our window option. So right arrow to enter the editing mode, and then we want to start our propagation. So tomorrow morning, the window will open at 8 a.m. every 10 minutes. It will mist for 5 seconds. Hit the right arrow, moves over to minutes, doesn't matter. We want 8 a.m. and then we want to close the window at 6 p.m. after the heat of the day. So we're going to go right arrow and then go ahead and hit the minus button until it says 6 p.m. So not 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. is when our window is open. It will mist every 10 minutes during that window. It reset itself, but we'll go ahead and check all of our settings. So 9:03 is the time on a Tuesday. We have valve number 1. We have a duration of 5 seconds every 10 minutes on a cycle. And it starts today, 9:15. That's good to go. We don't have a rain sensor that we want to operate with that valve. We do want the window open at 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day after today. And then we have no manual needs at this time for this valve. Press enter. It's 9:04. Now let's set valve number 2. Now valve number 2 is going to be a traditional irrigation cycle. So we're going to right arrow. That gets our little arrow flashing. And we're going to hit plus. Selected valve number 2. And we're going to hit enter. Valve number 2 wants to run for 2 minutes. We actually want to run it for 20 minutes. So plus till we get to 20. There we go. And we're good there. So we're going to use our enter key to save that setting. Now we want to run on days. Let's say we're going to run on Monday and Thursday. Now we have our arrow flashing for Monday. We want to hit plus, which will create a second arrow. And then we want to move that arrow over with the right arrow key to Thursday. That's right. Then we're going to hit plus again. Creates another arrow. So both of these two are solid. This one's flashing. The flashing arrow never saves. Okay. So once we press enter, it will save that. Start time, we do want to start it at 5 a.m. And we don't need any minutes, but we'll go ahead and then we'll press, and it's Monday and Thursday starting at 5 a.m. We're going to irrigate. Okay, we don't need a start time 2. We don't need 3. We don't need 4. Now, we do want to run a sensor. So our sensor, we're going to do the plus sign, which turns our sensor on. So when the sensor is wet, you can adjust, then it will not irrigate. That's good. We don't need any manual buttons right now. Okay. So we do have a sensor. It is Tuesday, 9:06 a.m. Check our settings. Valve 2 runs for 20 minutes on Monday and Thursday. Start 1 is 5 a.m. Start 2, start 3, start 4 are all off. We are going to use the sensor, so that setting is on. And we're not doing the manual or the rain off button at this time. So that's good to go. Then we just keep repeating that process all the way across. I hope this has been really helpful. Please click like and subscribe if you found this video useful, and that helps us to continue to produce videos. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them down below in the comments and questions. And have a wonderful day, and thanks so much for watching.